pissing him off, and you're pissing us off. Now where is he?
Leave Gordon alone. Leave Gordon alone. Oh, you guys, I am so sorry. I got so involved with family stuff and doing yard work, and Jessica needed her car taken to the mechanic, so I took her there, and then I totally lost track of time. I have never started a live show so quickly as I did just now. Jaloja, welcome to the sometimes operational Talking the Orville. We have so much to talk about. A Tale of Two Topas. I still cannot believe this episode, you guys. People are going nuts. Last week, everyone went nuts with last week's episode, and now it's completely forgotten. A Tale of Two Topas blew that last week's episode out of the water. I cannot believe it. Does that mean, so far, almost every episode has blown the previous episode out of the water? Does that mean that the next episode, twice in a lifetime, is going to blow us away even more, where we completely forgot about A Tale of Two Topas? Is that how amazing it's going to be with every single episode this season? I think maybe so. We got to talk about Clyden. We got to talk about Isaac. We got to talk about Bortus. We got to talk about Topa and Kelly a little bit as well. What is going on, you guys? I'm so sorry for making you wait. I feel absolutely horrible, which is how they say horrible in Francais, which is how they say France. What's going on? James Cecil, a producer of Talking the Orville. JP, I'm docking your pay for a half hour. You go ahead and do that. I deserve it. I messed up. I'm late for work. My alarm clock did not go off in time. Tia Martin Esquire says, Isaac sucks. Oh, I love me some Isaac. I just absolutely adore Isaac. And I think Isaac is lying to himself. I think Isaac has emotions, has feelings. I think he lied about why he helped Topa with the recorrective surgery to bring Topa back to her original birth state. I don't think he did it for the selfish reasons that he told Claire. I think he did it to help Claire from having to demote herself to a civilian from the, not being part of the fleet anymore. I think he came to Claire about Topa because he had emotions. It wasn't merely as surgical or as by the book as he claimed. I think he realized someone was in trouble and he wanted to help. So he went to Claire to try to get some help. JP rocks, the Orville Evangelist. I'm just glad I made it. I could have totally forgot. I had so much stuff going on. I still have to go take Jessica back to the mechanics at some time. Hopefully it takes at least an hour for that call to come in. But wow, I even did edging. I went and bought an edger. Jessica and I bought an edger, and I did some edging just about 30 minutes ago, just to see if it helps make the lawn look a little bit better. And it did. And then I was totally getting into stuff I totally forgot. I'm the worst. You were waiting for Clyden's arm to snap from Isaac. Now, okay, Clyden. I felt really bad for Clyden. Though I don't agree with Clyden's outlook on the universe, I put myself in his place. Someone who's trying to do what they think is best for their child. And every time they stand up for themselves, they get their ass literally handed to them. They get beaten up. They get restrained, they get hurt, they get thrown up against the wall. So I felt really bad for Clyden, and I watched the episode a couple times, and even more so than the first time I watched it, when Clyden gets thrown against the wall by Kelly. I was like, oh, poor Clyden, he's just doing what he thinks is right. And then Isaac took him down too. I felt so bad. Mark Lawrence, thank you for that super chat. JP, did you make sure you were wearing pants? I'm almost gone out the door in just my underpants before, especially in hot weather. I actually wore shorts outside today. I never wore shorts outside. But if I wasn't going to wear pants, that would have been yesterday, July 1st, the first of the month. Today's the 2nd, so it's, you can do what you want. Isling Salisbury, damn you, come on, just as I gotta run. I'm so sorry. We'll catch up later, but great episodes, so many levels. Importantly, glory to Avis, you are okay. Glory to Avis. Praise Avis, praise Kelly. I've kind of gone to the Kelly route at this point. Chris Ray, Clyden shouldn't have messed with Kelly. She's a total badass. Another stellar episode. I was very scared when Claire was talking about quitting. Yeah, I was like, there's no way. And then I saw Isaac turn around and have an idea. I'm like, he only had that idea because he's trying to save Claire, even though he won't admit it. Not to us, not to himself. But yeah, Kelly was able to Kelly handle Clyden. I figured Clyden would be stronger than Kelly because Bortus is really strong. He can punch a Selene in the face to the point where a Selene might get a bloody nose. He can take a hit from a Selene as long as they're wearing a boxing glove. I figured Clyden would be that strong as well. Maybe not though. I don't know. I would just assume that, but that's something I can just say. Okay, maybe there's other circumstances going along. Maybe Clyden is the weakest Mocklin ever. I have no idea. Let me see here. I bet the whole ship hates Clyden for being an ass. Yeah, I think Clyden is not very popular on the ship, but also I don't think Clyden cares. Clyden hates everybody. He hates humans. He hates the way how they treat women as equals. Clyden is backwards. But I understand where Clyden's come from, not because I come from anywhere from that, but I've been able to see through Clyden's eyes thanks to the show. And also I think about Clyden thinking about his child. And, he thinks he's doing what's right because of his culture, but I don't think he's doing what's right. Kelly got that goddess power now. She does. Clyden even brought that up, that maybe she thinks she's a god because she is. Why would you think you're something that you're not? If she thinks she's a god, it's because she is literally an entire planet believes in her as a deity. Archmage Frey says, I love the clever password, which foreshadowed the real person who sent it to Topa. Oh, yeah, Bortus. I did not expect that Bortus was the one that allowed passage to the information. How about that entire scene with Havina? Most of it was prior footage from the episode of Batgirl. Alara was in the background, which is a really cool way to get an Alara cameo that totally fits. But also a lot of that was filmed fresh and new. They had Rena Owen reenact her scene from that episode, and then they cut it in appropriately where they needed it to be. I'm thinking of asking Tom Costantino, who cut all that together and tried to make it as canon official as possible, canonific as possible. He was very into making it extremely canon. Thinking about talking to him about just that scene because he's the one that put it all together. Clyden hated being on that ship. Glad they got a divorce. Toxic relationship. Also, I don't think Clyden's gone. I think Clyden is probably coming back with reinforcements. I mean, he's probably going to complain. The Mocklin government's going to be like, oh, that's horrible. You deserve satisfaction. So I think Clyden might come back with some Mocklin backup. What do you guys think? I can imagine that story's not over. I mean, when I was rewatching the episode with Jessica, we were watching it, and at one point she said, well, at least Clyden didn't tell Topa that he wished she was never born, because some people are like that. Some parents are like that. And then lo and behold, 3 minutes later, Clyden said exactly what she was glad he didn't say, but he did say it. And she was totally broken up about it. I could totally tell. And I was like, yeah, he said it. And she's like, what? No parent should ever say that to their child. And there it was. So I think Clyden will be back, you guys, with some revenge plans going on. And of course, he'll be wrong because he's going about it the wrong way. The Bandersnatch says, I have a theory that Clyden and Topa will mirror Talia and Anaya at some point in the season or next. Hopefully the next. I'm all about the next. Either Clyden will return and be an absolute moron, or return and completely root for his child. I'm hoping that being away from his child will mean more to him than any of that other crap that he believes in. It should be all about Topa, all about what's best for the child. But what he thinks is best for the child is not what's best for the child. So that's the thing that has to be dealt with. He has to see the error in his ways. He's just not going to be able to do that unless there's something that makes him see that. And I also think probably Talia's probably, I don't know if she's going to be able to be saved, able to be brought into the light. Krill don't even like the light, so so it might be hard to bring her into the light. They had to dig out the old uniforms. Tom posted on Twitter. Yeah, they had to bring them out. Some of the bridge crew, some of the cast actually had to reprise their old roles, being in the council hearing chambers, and be their younger selves. Which that I didn't even expect until I heard that. But I put out that whole side-by-side comparison of About a Girl and A Tale of Two Topas, and there's some scenes you can tell are newly filmed when Havina is giving her speech, because sometimes in one episode she's looking a certain way, posed a certain way, and in the other episode she's posed a different way during that same exact line. I'm like, oh, that was filmed separately. And some of it was exactly the same footage, which is pretty interesting. I wish you had never been hatched. I know, I couldn't believe Clyden went down that route, because we've been talking about what will change Clyden for years now. And a lot of us are like Topa. The love of his child will be the thing that finally gets through to him. But right now it has not gotten through to him. So I'm very interested to see if he's, hopefully not this season, because I want it to go into next season so that we can have a next season, because we're still waiting on that. But I have never seen so much praise for an episode of the Orville than I have I said this last week. And then A Tale of Two Topas came out, and wow, even bigger than last week. People are going nuts. And some people have problems with the episode, but we know why. It has nothing to do with the episode. It has to do with their outlook on life. It's obvious. They won't say it, but you can tell by the words they use. That's why they didn't like it. Yeah, Emmy material. Heck, everything material. Kids' Choice Award. I don't care what it gets. It needs to win everything. Kids' Choice Award. Little League Baseball trophy. Give the Orville everything. Jay Lee said if it didn't win an Emmy for this episode, then he doesn't know what the heck's going on with this world. It's ridiculous. T.M. Martin says, Rena Owen, the latest version of Topa, knocked that performance out of the park. The latest person to play Topa is Amani Pullum, I think is her name. She played both the male and female Topa for this episode. And when I realized that was a female actor playing the male Topa, I'm like, oh, maybe we will see the change happen one way or another, so that, you know, it actually is a female actor when Topa becomes female again. Trigger says, there is going to be a next season, JP, and we need you there all the way through it. If there's another season, I will be there all the way through it. No doubt. As long as the lights are still on and the internet is still on. Last night, my internet went off for a while, but it was late at night. I just happened to be watching the new fan episodes of season 5 of The Office that just came out on Peacock. I have so much extra footage in those episodes, and then it just froze up, and it never came back, so I just went to bed. Woke up, and there's internet again. Praise Kelly. Thank you, Avis. Okay, well, last week was okay, but way too on the nose. That depends on the person. A lot of people think it was blended just right. Certain issues affect certain people more or less than other people, depending on what's going on in our own lives and our own opinions. So some people is just right there mixed in just right, and other people it's right on the nose. I totally get it. My only issue is they rely on Isaac as the solution to the problem of the week too often. You see, he did, yeah, he saves the ship a lot. He needs to save the ship a lot, that's for sure, because he's got a lot to prove. But I still think him doing these things that he's done to help the ship isn't because he's trying to prove himself, but because he actually has robot feelings for these people and their plight to do good things. Zanity Zuzu, I feel like the story was meant for a later season, that they are trying to give the payoffs just in case there isn't renewal, but still planting seeds for the future seasons. I feel that as well. I'm like, we're getting a lot of payoffs this season. Like we got, but they're leaving it open for more, which is great because certain storylines occur every season. The Topa thing happens every season. We get a little bit more of that, especially that story, the Talia story. We get a little bit of that every single season. So I'm hoping that we don't wrap up those things this season and that we save them for another season. And with what I see people saying online and the praise that the series is getting for all the episodes, but it grows more and more every single episode, the audience response, and audience members that have never watched the show before. They're new to the show. There are so many people that are new to the Orville, and that is what's incredibly exciting because that really makes me think we're going to be getting more. Kalon Sphere, new theory, and it's way the hell out there. The Kalon work for Havina. We have not had an update on the Kalon, not a real one, not a real update this season. We know they're out there. They show up every once in a while in one way or another to remind the audience that they're still a threat, they're a problem. They're talked about a lot, but we have not had a legitimate run-in with them where we're having communication. We know that they're going to be popping up at some point on the view screen saying, surrender or you will die. When's that coming up? Is it coming up this week with Twice in a Lifetime? I have no idea. I know some stuff that happens in Twice in a Lifetime, but I don't know what it means yet. I don't know what the episode is about. The phrase twice in a lifetime has a romantic ring to it, to my ear. But I mean, I keep waiting to get a super romantic episode. I haven't really got one yet. But the Orville usually has at least one, right? Cardinal Sin, member for 6 months. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work supporting the Orville, JP. Thank you. I'm always here to support the Orville. I'm also thinking of supporting Ted when Ted comes out. Scott Grimes will be one of the stars of the show. Of course, it's the Seth MacFarlane joint. They're going to be working on that soon, getting that out to us. And then hopefully this summer we get, hopefully any day now. We have had 5 episodes. We're in the middle of the season. Hopefully we get that renewal announcement. And then once they're done with Ted, they'll start on the Orville, on the Orville again. Cardinal Sin, also thank you for that super chat sticker. Thank you so much. What is that, a pear? I always think of a Twitter bird, but it always ends up being a pear, doesn't it? I love me some pears. Trigger, thank you for that super chat. Very much appreciated. I have not yet seen the preview for the next episode. I don't know if it's going to be out, if it might already be out and I missed it because I haven't looked online today at all. It might come out tomorrow. They were supposed to come out on Sundays, but last week it came out on Friday. So if it's out there, I'll be putting it out as soon as I see it. I'll be putting it all together and mixing it with the Inside the Orville A Tale of Two Topas. Put that out for you guys, hopefully with a little bit of behind the scenes as well. I like to put out attach some behind the scenes with the videos if I have it available. SVD just joined. What did you think of the recent episode? Absolutely loved it. A perfect partial conclusion to Topa's journey all the way back in season 1 when when the Mocklins decided to give a newborn baby a sex change to male because their society is very boner specific. That's how they run their show over there. Boner, boner, boner. Like, no, let's mix it up a little bit. Oh, the new trailer just came out, Smoke says. Well, thank you for letting me know. I have not been online today at all. This is the very first time. I was too busy getting family stuff done. I've been shopping for groceries and stuff. Had to go get some stuff from Lowe's as well. Do the mechanic stuff for Jessica today. And then I did some yard work. And then I was like, oh, dang, I got a show. Oh, I'm late. Run. Orville has lost a ton of viewers. I doubt it will get another season. First off, prove what you're saying, because I've seen the exact opposite and I would know. Let's see who said that. Now, are you working with your feelings or do you actually have facts? Because if you don't have the facts, you're talking to the wrong person. Another Orville has, yeah, that's Sir Mustard of House Mayonnaise. I love me some mustard. I love me some mayonnaise. But I have seen the exact opposite of what you are referring to, speaking of as if it were a fact. Ah, your car's ready. We'll be able to wait like 30 minutes or so? Okay, thank you. The car is ready, but I'm sticking here for a while, you guys. Yeah, I have one of my pet peeves is people speaking without facts. Bortus also will need a lot of love and support from everyone now that he will be a pariah of Mocklins. Yes, he will. Absolutely. Bortus and Topa. But of course, they're going to blame Bortus even more. So it was a good idea to have a Kalon do it. So no one's hands are red. No one's in the fleet can claim responsibility. But, ooh. Eventually, the Mocklins won't care that a Kalon did it, and they're just going to blame all the humans. But it would make them look bad right now, and they do need the help of the fleet to survive, so they're willing to let it go a little bit. You got several friends to start watching the Orville. Yeah, I'm seeing every day. Every day there are new people watching the show. I see them, I respond to them, I share their comments. They're like, wow, I just discovered the show. I had no idea. So many people are saying that this is not only one of the best sci-fi shows they've ever seen this season, but it is the best show they have ever seen. Many comments like that. Despite what the feelings of others might say. Never go with the feelings, go with the facts. Oh, Bortus will probably be ready for a new porn program in the environmental simulator very soon. I am pretty sure. I wonder if Bortus finds a new mate. Seems to me that New Horizons is super successful. It really, really, really is. I have never seen a response like this to the Orville throughout the seasons, you guys. Yeah, we need some new Bortus programs. We need to go back to the lagoon, don't you think? Yeah, the writers are doing an outstanding job this season. I see that commented quite a bit as well from people online. They're saying the writing is just the best they've ever seen on a show. I've seen people that have disagreed, but we know why. We know why. I'm betting that if and when Topa officially joins the Union, or whatever the Mocklins will petition to leave if they allow a female Mocklin in the service. Oh, that's right. They're not against Mocklins being in the service, but yes, a female Mocklin, that's going to piss them off. Trigger has watched it 5 times already. And that's what renewal. That's what it takes to get that renewal. Just keep watching it over and over. But it's important to get more people involved, just because, you know, there's so many things. People have never heard of the show. They're not going. It's going to be rare that they find it on their own, because there's so much stuff out there, just so much distractions. They're like, oh, there's this thing called the Orville. Let me check that out. I was just going to watch The Bachelor. Yeah, John and Tala, gonna get down and dirty. I think there's something coming. Pun not not intended. First, some people didn't like that the Orville was funny. Yeah, they didn't. That's why everyone says, "Where's the jokes? Why is it not funny?" I'm like, well, there's lots of jokes in every episode. I've seen multiple jokes in every episode, but it's not the focus. And it was the thing that people complained about the most in the first 2 seasons. There's a difference between the show, the Orville with the sci-fi and the comedy. It was a great show. It was a great sci-fi show that way. But now, with their changes that they've made, it is the greatest sci-fi show. Yeah, I said it. It is the greatest sci-fi show. And if it kept the previous format exactly as is, it would have just been a really great sci-fi show. I think it has, with the weight that it had to have in order to be made, it deserves to be going for being the greatest sci-fi show, because the greatest sci-fi show cannot be denied, and it has to get renewed, and it has to appeal to the most people and speak, because it had all these great messages, and the show has to speak to the most people. The Bachelor and Orville have near zero audience in common. I don't know. They shouldn't. I would think they shouldn't. But I mean, in episode 2, Command Performance, one of the first things they brought out at the end of the episode was reality television. The Caliban are probably very much into The Bachelor, I do have to say. The only reality show that I watch that's a stupid reality show, dumb, but it's better than The Bachelor, is The Circle on Netflix. But even Netflix, too bad, I'm going to have to cut Netflix. Netflix is over $15 now. That's ridiculous. No streaming service should be over $15. That's nuts, especially since they only come out with their own original programming anymore. Giola, member for 31 months. Is that even an amount of time? That seems like a lot. Hopefully Clyden gets a redeemable character arc. I hope so, because I love Clyden. But I love the purpose Clyden serves in holding up a mirror to our own lives, to some of the people that we know, to some of the people that we are. And I love the purpose Clyden serves, but I would like Clyden to be a little bit more softer, I guess. Not so harsh. Learn some lessons. But the Orville likes to do things very realistically. Like in About a Girl, when Topa was changed at the end, even though we fought for her not to be changed. That's the realistic conclusion to that storyline in our own world. Talia, there was not a happy ending there in any of the Talia storylines. They're always the more realistic. You just cannot easily fight indoctrination, you guys. It doesn't end happily ever after. Very rarely. Curtis Tate liked the humor of the first 2 seasons. Me too. I loved it. So many people, that's what turned them off to the Orville in the first 2 seasons. And I was like, why can't there be both? But they didn't like it. But the Orville's trying to go for such big stories this season. They kept the comedy there, but it doesn't register with us as quickly or as easily as it used to, because the storylines are so hardcore this season. But man, there's a lot of funny stuff going on. That naked alien, my goodness, Gordon, basically being a child who has no self-control. Isaac in a cowboy hat and a mustache. The Caliban might join the fight when Kalon attacked them. Ooh, very good. I wonder if the Kalon would attack them, though, knowing that they don't want the Caliban in the fight. So you don't want to, wake a sleeping monster like the Japanese did when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Maybe they would go from the historical records, the Kalon, and go, oh no, we should wait until we get all the little guys out of the way first, and then we'll go for the Caliban. And of course they want the Caliban gone too. They don't want to be in that zoo. Yes, I agree. We do need a Gordon episode, like a legit one. I want a legit Gordon episode. I want a legit John episode. I want Dan. We've hardly had any Dan this season. He's there. I've seen him. He said a word or two, but we haven't had any real Dan moments. Oh yeah, we have with Jessica's car. They close at 5, so I mean I could probably go another 30 minutes here, you guys. She said to take my time because they don't close till 5. The town ain't big enough for the combined mass for our combined mass partner. Yeah, that's one thing I want to talk to Mark about. Is like he gets to say normal things, but in a very complicated computer AI type of way. So even though he doesn't have, say, as many lines as other characters, I think he has the most difficult lines to say. Will Clyden return to stir the pot with the Mocklin culture? Well, we haven't had a big Mocklin episode. We had a Clyden Bordis episode, but I don't even consider those Mocklin episodes, even though they kind of are, especially when Mocklins has given their opinions on stuff. But we didn't really talk to any other Mocklins this episode except for Clyden and Bordis. So I can see there being room for a legit Mocklins are mad episode. One of you guys, when talking about the Clyden situation, used the word domino, like knocking down a domino, blah, 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 pertaining to the situation with the episode. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting because the second to last episode 9 of this season, is called Domino. And I was like, ooh, so maybe that's the episode, Domino. We'll have to wait and see, but I would like a little bit more information this season, but just, leave it open a little bit for the upcoming seasons. These storylines that they've kept throughout all the seasons keeps us, the fans, hungry for more seasons. So to have everything closed out makes me think, Seth was writing with the idea of, oh, maybe this is the last season. Let me close up all these storylines. But I really feel there's a big chance for more seasons, and he's up for it. The cast and crew say that they're up for it, so maybe they know a little bit more than we do if they've changed their opinion on the possibility of more. But of course, they keep everything pretty close to the vest, even with me. Even though they don't always keep things completely close to the vest with me, I think that's one thing that they would keep pretty close. Joel Diaz, I want a Mocklin jailbreak and see more Mocklin culture going bananas. Well, I want the entire population of Mocklis to find out the truth of what's been going on with the whole male-female thing on their world. I mean, we've already learned that there are a lot of Mocklins that are not single-gender minded. There's straight Mocklins. There's Mocklins that hide their children if they turn out female, or give them away to people that can get them to escape, or they escape to the sanctuary. So not all Mocklins think that way. So I'd like to see what happens when the entire population finds out the truth, whatever that truth is. See, Lancashire Liberty, worst episode out of all 3 seasons so far. So you're gonna have to take that up with the fandom, because most of the fandom, 99.5% from what I've seen, think that this is the best episode. So is the majority right, or are you correct? I think personally you could be correct for yourself, but you don't speak for the fandom, because the fandom has spoken loudly and this is their favorite episode. What's up, brother? I finally made it for a live stream. I finally made it, Mercules. I was very late. Yeah, it's very hard to break with beliefs. Absolutely. You grow up in a thing, somebody just tells you anything and you just believe it, and then the conversation never comes up again. So then you all of a sudden you're an adult and you still believe that thing somebody told you when you were 9 years old. I've seen stuff like that happen too. And then I've seen, of course, hardcore indoctrination with people as well. And people don't question, people don't get the answers. If you're not asking questions, you're not going to get answers. What if we revisit a couple old worlds and discover they've been wiped out by the Kalon? I'm looking at you, All the World is Birthday Cake. Yeah. What's that? Was that the Regans? The Rorgans? I can't remember their exact name. those silly people in their concentration camps is basically what they had for the people that were born during the Gilead month. Those were basically concentration camps. And in the story that was dropped from this season, Sympathy for the Devil, that we are getting in book form, in novella form, looks like that deals with not only concentration camps, but it looks like it's Earth during World War II, from what I can tell. So I think we might be going, having a little bit of time travel this season. I didn't expect to like this episode, but it was one of the best. Thanks, Curtis Tate. Yeah, I had no idea. I had my thoughts of what the episode could be. A Tale of Two Topas. Obviously going to be a Topa story, and we all were thinking, oh, is Topa going to find out that he was born a girl? And I was thinking, oh, that'd be an interesting episode, but I had no idea how well done it was going to be. I thought it would be at the same level as About a Girl, which was a great episode, but I didn't think it was going to be way beyond that. And the fact that they brought back that court scene from About a Girl, that blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Paul Flint, the only person in the world besides myself, saying, would be good to see more Kalon. Kalon are the worst. They're going to kill all of us. But I want to see more of the Kalon. This episode felt more like old Orville, which is refreshing. Yeah, I thought it was, I don't know, it was like just over the top awesome. Every line of dialogue, the certain moments, the fact that when Isaac noticed it was weird that Topa was asking about death, that's when he went to Kelly. And that whole thing about, oh, do you want me to tell everybody that this is not a romantic visit? And she's like, no, we're good. Just don't tell anybody anything. That was hilarious. But Isaac sees things that you don't think he would see, that he doesn't even think that he would see. And I think he lies to himself about about how emotional he really is. He doesn't want to believe that he's emotional, but he keeps showing us that it seems like he is emotional. And then there's the whole argument, should Kelly have gone over Bortus and Clyden's wishes? At first I would say, no, they're the parents. You got to go with them no matter whether you agree with them or not, unless they're hurting Topa or something like that. But then she changed her mind about adhering to Bortus and Clyden's wishes when she found out that Topa was contemplating suicide. Then it's like, okay, now I have to do something because this kid's gonna kill himself. Yeah, I really think Isaac is evolving as well, Penny. YouTube user. Topa, the original. There's no number there. YouTube user. You are the YouTube user. Topa should be introduced to the historical data of Dolly Parton working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. She speaks with the voice of 100 soldiers. I think Kelly should have been more upfront about what she thought Topa was thinking about. But also, she just pointed Topa towards the files, the cake files that Topa couldn't even open. And it was Bortus that let Topa through to see the truth. So really, she didn't reveal anything to Topa. Bortus did. And I didn't even expect that to come. I thought she did it. And then Bortus says, no, I gave him the password. Topa's Lagoon with female Mocklins, dozens of them, ready to be adventurous. Sentient beings can evolve. Boom. The third season soundtrack. Oh yeah, the soundtrack is gonna be great. You know that will be out there after the season. Season 3 score will be coming out. Definitely be available for purchase as well as on Spotify and all the other places. I listened to it on Spotify, the first 2 seasons. Did Topa forget the time Bortus showed him a female Mocklin? I can see that he forgot because that was the little 8-year-old Topa, who was actually 3 or 4 months old at that time, but was the equivalent of an 8-year-old. They just saw a baby, and the baby looks like a baby. They don't look like a male or female. But yeah, I thought of that too when watching that episode. And then I was like, oh, they're a kid. They're not going to remember everything. Especially when you got Clyde talking crap about females all day, every day. Go Dolly. But Bortus must, oh gosh, here we go. But Bortus must have been the one to code that recording in the first place. So it couldn't be deleted by Clyde without the password. Yeah, Bortus had the full control of all of that. Kelly just knew there was that folder that had the information in it. She didn't know how to get into it, but she pointed Topa in the right direction. And Bortus is the one that gave access knowingly. Michael Sullivan, how about an episode where Planetary Union finds another planet to help them with weapons so that they can kick Mocklins out of the Union? Well, even Ed said something like, why are we letting them make all the weapons? We can't be reliant on people that are like this just because they make the weapons. Why do we allow that? So I figured by now they would start. I wouldn't even. I'm sure the Union knows how to make all the weapons that the Mocklins have provided. Why do we need the Mocklins to make them? We can make them ourselves. And with Isaac's help, we can improve upon them. Do the Mocklins age faster than human children? Yes, they do. Because of the harsh conditions of their planet, the children evolved to that when they're born, they grow really fast, just like other animals here on Earth. Like a horse is born already able to walk, and then they grow to full size pretty darn quickly. Same with most animals, birds, lions, kitties, doggy puppies, little chickadees. I'm talking about animals. Yeah, it was established last season when we were reacquainted with the resident Mocklins aboard the ship that the children grow very, very, very quickly. At 3 months old, Topa, and this was established in season 1.5 in the comics, the Orville comic series, which is soft canon, which fills in the gaps from the show, and it's written by David A. Goodman. At 3 months, Topa was 8 years old equivalent, and Bortus wanted to enter Topa into school, and Claire was like, oh, Topa's way too old to start going to school. And then Topa walks in as an 8-year-old. She's like, what's going on? Who's this? And it's Topa. What? It's only 3 months old. And he's the equivalent of an 8-year-old. So yeah, Mocklin's children grow fast. It looks like Krill children grow a little bit fast. I don't know how fast. But yeah, Mocklins grow very fast, which always leads us to believe how old, or to question, how old is Bortus? Bortus might only be 15 years old. Maybe Bortus's next birthday will be his sweet 16. That's never been revealed how old Bortus is. Bortus might be young as well, but the equivalent of 40-something-year-old on Mocklus. Think we'll see Bruce Boxleitner again as Planetary Union president? Yes. It is official that Bruce Boxleitner will be showing up again this season. Which episode? I do not know. But yes, the president will be making his return. Yes, that's a good question right there, Chris Smith. How long do Mocklins live? I do not know, but I think it would be one of those little Orville jokes if it turns out Bortus is only 16. And maybe they only live to be 30 years old. But yes, that's a good question. That's one of those other things that as Orvillians, the Orville universe needs to answer at some point to really fill out the facts of the Orville universe, the alien races. Mark Lawrence, thank you so much for that super chat. The crew throwing a sweet 16 party for Bortus would be hilarious. That seems like an easy joke to me. I mean, personally, I would love Boris to not be 16 years old, to have had more years under his belt to become the person that he is. Yeah, how many times has Boris Jalojed? Only 15 times, and it'll be his 16th time coming up soon. I'm wondering if this episode had to do with supporting transgender in children, or is it against? It's both sides of the story is what the Orville does. So what they did, just like they did with About a Girl, and I really appreciated About a Girl. I mean, I have my opinions on the topic, complicated topic. I have complicated opinions. About a Girl, just like with A Tale of Two Topas, tells you the side of both sides of the argument, and then lets you decide. This episode, they let Topa decide for herself. It never tells you the right answer, which is one of the great things about the Orville, is they'll raise an issue, they'll talk about an issue in our lives, and let you decide. They don't tell you the answer. Perhaps it's neither, and it's really just wanted to open everyone's eyes and have the discussion. That's it right there. Open people's eyes to have the discussion, and they can have it in a neutral way, because they're able to talk about it as aliens, an alien world. And what's great about it, because they switched it, say you're someone that's totally against a gender reassignment. Even a person with that opinion would be like, but for Topa, it should be allowed because they're just going back to their original, the way they were born. They're fixing the surgery that was done without her consent when she was a baby. So even people that are against it would still be for it in this situation, I would think. My favorite part is this actually proved Talia's point from last episode. Joining the Union does partially take away the unique beliefs of the member worlds. Yeah, I mean, you really, if you're going to be a part of the Union is, of course, is humans. It's Earth opinions, for the most part, the general opinions of Earthlings, and the show is about coexistence, about coexisting with people that have completely different beliefs than you, and their culture is completely different. Yet we coexist. Even if people that have beliefs that you absolutely hate, you're still coexisting with them right now, because they're right across the street, and you're in your home on your side of the street, or they're next door. They're in the grocery store. You're in the grocery store. They're coexisting with you just as you are coexisting with them. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, it's a quagmire. It's very complicated. Yeah, I wonder how Topa will interact with Claire's boys now. Absolutely. What are the Finn kids? What are they going to think about Topa going forward? How are they going to treat each other? Child abuse was also brought up in the episode. Absolutely. They bring up all sides. And a lot of times they let you see from the point of view of someone who is on that side, whether you believe it or not, believe in that same thing or not. So just like I don't believe the same stuff Clyden believes, but I've been allowed to see through Clyden's eyes, through his point of view. So I felt bad for Clyden, even though I do not agree with him. It's a very thoughtful, advanced show that a lot of shows don't. They don't give you something to think about unless it's something that you have to get defensive about. This allows those conversations to move forward and to take place without people getting defensive, unless they choose to be defensive. And some people, that's their default, is to be defensive on anything. One of the Finn boys falls in love with Topa, but it doesn't end very well. I think that if they did that story, I think at this point it would have to be Marcus and Topa. They're probably closer than age. Ty is still just Kai, played by Ty. No, Ty, played by Kai, is just too cute to go down those storylines for me. He's just a cute kid. Thanks, Lone Puppy. Lone Puppy always hits the like button on their way in. I'm glad I was here so that you can come in here. I almost completely forgot about it. I was so into doing all the chores that I had to do. Thanks, Politico Coffee. Only 25 right now, so I'm evangelizing. Joy Dawn's evangelizing. Orville evangelizing. That's what I do. Kalon's fair. Wonder if Clairboys would have to lay the egg. It is quite uncomfortable, yes. It was interesting to hear Isaac's reason for doing the operation on Topa, which I think is he totally lied. He was trying to come at it from a problematic, logical point of view, but I think he did it because he cared. He cared about Claire keeping her job. Clyde attacked Kelly and Isaac. I'm done with him and Talia. Yeah, I'm still always rooting for Clyden to improve, have a good story arc that brings him to the side of light. Talia, I think, might be way too far gone with what she's done. Even if she switches the way she thinks, I think she's done too much for me to be redeemed. That's also an interesting question, Salazar. Since Bortus laid the egg, does it mean that he is Topa's mother? I don't know. I always thought of him as more of the father and Clyden as more of the mother, but he did lay the egg. But personality-wise, he's definitely the head of household, if you will. To me, he's the one. He has a job. What does Clyden do? Does Clyden even do anything for the ship? Marcus and Topa ends with Topa laying an egg. Topa doesn't know what to do, but ends up chatting with Ed because of what happened between him and Talia. Yeah, they brought up what was it, Anaya? They brought her up, Ed's child. He's still thinking about her, writing her letters, which is really sweet. Doesn't send them, but he just saves them for her in case they're ever able to be a family in some way. But also with the Mocklins, even though Bortus laid the egg, maybe they're asexual. Maybe they can replicate, they can reproduce without the help of anyone else. But maybe it's just part of their culture that if you're with someone and they have a kid, that is your kid as well, even though none of the DNA matches at all. Did Bortus lay an egg? I suspect they make the egg and then inseminate it somehow. That'd be the chicken way to do it. Clyden doesn't even want visitation parenting time with Topa. I know, right? I mean, but that could just be out of anger. I mean, a day or two can go by and he's like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. Now I need to figure out how to fix this situation because being with my family is more important than anything else. Or the more realistic thing that'll happen is Clyde never changes his ways, never grows. That's the more realistic approach. Jonathan Perez, what's going on? Where'd that go? I just saw something. A dude thoughts. I do not think they are asexual. Yeah, I don't think so too, but it's a valid question. I mean, how does their whole egg thing work? Does it work like a chick, like a bird, or does it work like, I don't know, a lizard? I have no idea how. I don't know how birds get it all going, you guys. I don't know how they knock boots. I don't know if I want to know. In Jurassic Park, nature found a way for the dinosaurs to procreate. I guess the same thing happened with Mocklins. I can believe that as well because of the severely harsh conditions on Mocklins when their people were evolving. They've talked about many times of just how it's so harsh. That's why they can eat anything. They evolved to be able to eat anything because, food was probably pretty scarce. They probably had to eat rocks. Morville to explore you guys' storylines. That's right. Yeah, it's sex as they talk about it in previous episodes. Now, I do I assume that Mocklins have penises because Bortus stood on the edge of a cliff and unzipped his pants and had his little celebration right there. All we are is Jaloja in the wind. That's true. They have the sexual event. Very good point, Archmage Frey. They can't be asexual if they have the sexual event. But the sexual event could just be they both eat Rocky Road ice cream together. Who knows? Two gender asexuals. That's true. There is the other gender that's been hidden. So yeah, I'm thinking no on the asexualness. Unless they got a little bit of both. Maybe they evolved to be able to procreate very easily. I hope we move on from the Mocklin story since it's been done now. In some ways, it's been done. I think we still have to catch up. A big Mocklin story that would very much catch my flight of fancy is the entire population finding out about how common female Mocklins are and why their society evolved to hide the fact that there are female Mocklins, and most Mocklins don't even know about it. Yeah, TOPAS got to have their first Jaloja. They've probably already had at least one Jaloja by now. Chicks can take a pee standing up. What? You're blowing my mind, Politico Coffee. Mocklins became Cabbage Patch Kids. Cabbage Patch Kids. I'm all about, yeah, right there, Joel Diaz. I'm all about the Garbage Pail Kids. I used to collect Garbage Pail Kids when I was a kid. I had my dad take me to see the Garbage Pail Kid movie at the drive-in. He said it was the worst movie he has ever seen in his entire life. He said, I remember him saying, he goes, that was the dumbest movie I've ever seen. I don't remember if it was dumb or not, but I keep hearing that it's pretty bad. I'm intrigued with Talia and what's her next move, the way she has been peering at Anaya. Yeah, does she start making some moves? Does she try to get Anaya to Ed at some point? She's obviously not 100% in her ways. She tried to save Ed. She obviously cares about Anaya, even though she won't have anything to do with her. But she watches her. She pays for everything. She obviously has feelings. Maybe at some point she'll say, oh, go with your father. You'll have a better life. Or will the Krill that follow her find out the truth about Anaya and be like, oh, Abomination, you're a liar, Talia. We're going to kill you, blah, 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 blah. And she has to go into hiding. Maybe she tries to seek sanctuary with the Union. Pee off the top of the bridge. I always pee at the bottom of the bridge. I prefer when people pee on the bottom of the bridge. Mac and Me was the worst, basically a commercial for McDonald's. Yeah. That I do know. I've watched that pretty recently. Just a couple years ago I rewatched Mac and Me. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a horrible movie. Yeah, we got to get some Tala and John storyline moving forward. We did not get that this episode. We got the hint of it in the previous episode. Maybe next week we'll see a little bit more of it. I'm thinking next week we might hopefully see some progress with Charlie and Isaac's relationship. Maybe she'll start to like him a little bit more. Oh yeah, slice of Kimbok sounds good. Just not Kimbok 33. Ruby Sultra says, I hope there's a Lost Mocklin female planet and they separated by choice. Well, there is the Sanctuary, which is pretty much almost all female Mocklins, but they're all females that escaped from the main Mocklin planet. And they went into hiding in a nebula on a planet. And they take refugees. That's where you smuggle your Mocklin refugees. Your straight Mocklins, your female Mocklins, your Mocklins that don't like Apsata. Will Tala and John make a baby? Man, everybody wants babies. We gotta get some Orville babies. I think before they make a baby, they'll make a whole lot of other things. I think Gordon and Charlie look great together. Yeah, both of them at the helm in the front totally looks good. I absolutely agree. I didn't even think about it that much until you said that. I'm like, yeah, totally. Because, you know, we're just so used to our preference, which is John and Gordon, and everyone they stuck Gordon with throughout last season. We're like, that don't work. That don't work. Who's that jabroni? What's the point of them? I don't like it. And then Charlie sat there. I'm like, okay, totally works. Orville, the next generation. Orville, the New Horizons. Next season will be the Next Horizons. And then season 5 will be even more Horizons. Season 6, Deep Space Horizons. John is kirking his way through the female crew. Well, he had in the alternate Kelly timeline, him and Alara had a thing. They were going out together. They were doing the things that young people like to do, making TikToks and stuff. You know, I really liked him with Leighton Meester, but that couldn't work. I guess no, that was great though. Lasting Impressions is a really great episode. It didn't even have to take place on a spaceship, that episode. But it did. We haven't had like a real romantic episode like the goodness gracious. Happy Refrain. Somewhere Orville the rainbow. The comm badge is blue. Season 7, Beyond Horizons. Season 8, Too Fast, Two Horizons. I thought with all those kids in the Orville, the Next Generation title could work well. Yeah, they just like with the TNG, they got kids on the ship. They got families on the ship. Still rooting for a bridge cat. I can totally go for that. I'm on board with you, Jeff B. Environmental TikTok simulator. It'll just be a bunch of young girls trying to make anime faces, or make a new facial expression for every word in a song, or do lazy hand dancing. Boring. Anybody have any good Orville spinoff ideas? Yes. Gordon, Deep Space Nine, or New Horizons, Deep Space Gordon. We need a Wizard of Oz Orville episode. Well, we're still getting over the Annie episode from last week. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow we'll get a renewal. Boy, that'd be nice. We need a renewal, you guys. Renew the Orville. You hear me, Hulu? I got a special set of skills, a particular set of skills, and those skills are talking about the Orville. So you better renew this show, you guys. I'm getting sick of this not renewal stuff. You're taking too long, Hulu. Alexander says there will be at least 3 more seasons. War against the Kalons should take at least a few seasons, like the Dominion War in DS9. I'm going with it. Whatever gets us more seasons, I'm all about it. A spinoff with Admiral Holland kicking ass. That's right. I like how we got a small reference to Earth's past last episode, and we had the Water Wars. The Water Wars. They sang that song to the Krill. Yeah, right. The Krill don't like the sun, so they didn't really like that part of the song. That sounds like sounds horrific. Sounds like Annie's a little monster shooting the sunbeams at the Krill, making them explode. I really think we need a First Contact spinoff when Earth first makes contact with other planetary life forms. Now, also keep in mind, the Planetary Union has been around for over a century. There's plenty of room for prequels. I'm not a prequel guy, but it would be kind of nice to see the beginnings of the Planetary Union. What made Earth change? The first time we met Mocklins, the first time we met anybody, really. Soleans. I would like to learn more about Solea. New Horizons, Deep Solea 9. Yeah, he loved Isaac stopping Clyden. I felt so bad. I loved that Isaac did that. And I loved how tense it was, but I felt so bad for Clyden. He thinks he knows things. I picture the Krill viewing the sun like the sun from the Mario games. I like to see a Krill jump off a block of bricks and land on a flagpole and slide down it. Oh, it's about time to sign off, you guys. I got to go to the mechanic and pick up the car. What's up, Anonymous? Yeah, Talia, I have no idea where she's going to end up. I'm thinking her people are going to turn against her at some point. Because there are parts of Krill who think that we should have an alliance. They should have an alliance with the Union to go up against the Kalon with. That's a real threat. When the Kalon starts showing up and picking off Krill, the Krill are going to be like, oh, we need the Union back. Talia got us in this mess. So we're going to make her pay. Hang Talia. Hang Talia. And then Ed comes in and saves her. Chris Ray, thank you for that super chat. Message retracted, JP. Well, whatever it was, I appreciate it. And you are the best, Chris Ray. Hope we find more about Anaya soon as time progresses. Wouldn't it be amazing if she becomes Ed's kid and she lives on the ship as well? And Kelly becomes Anaya's stepmama? Would be cool to see Kelly's dad. I have the feeling, I don't know this as a fact, I have a feeling that Kelly's dad is dead from the way they talk about him in the past tense. Oh, you wrote it wrong? I'll look for an update. If you type it in there somewhere, I'll read it. You got your name highlighted green so I can see you easier. Oh yeah, I'd love to have a Tesla that can drive itself home from the mechanic. I never even need to go to the mechanic. Yeah, I can send Jessica in the Tesla, and I say bring her to the mechanic, and then come back home, Tesla. And the Tesla goes, "I will, Daddy." I'm like, "You're such a good little Tesla." And it goes, "Thank you, Daddy." You know how Teslas are. JP claims he is going to the store. He is really going to go eat grass like the lawnmower man. Well, I edged the grass today. I didn't mow the grass. It's really hot out. It's like 100 degrees outside and the sun is blaring. But I said, oh, it's okay. I got to get this edging done. So I went and did it. Most of it. It was getting too hot. Where's Rob Lowe? Oh, yeah. We have not had any Retepsi. Well, we had a little child Retepsian in that Annie scene, but that was about it. We haven't had Derulio show up. Now, we didn't see Derulio in season 2 either, but we did see a couple of Retepsians at that in the episode Sanctuary, in that sanctuary hearing scene. No, Rob Lowe's still around. Rob Lowe's on that show. He's the star of 911 Lone Star. Yeah, Steve Carell would be good as well. The Lawnmower Man. I remember going and seeing that movie in the theater with my dad. I always went to the theater with my dad, you guys. All right, okay. It is getting time to go to the mechanic before they close. I do not want to let Jessica down. It's a holiday weekend, so things are going to close and not be open for a day or two. So I wish you guys a happy holiday weekend. Oh, James Cecil says it's 85 degrees. That sounds so good. That's a good amount of degrees. We have a lot more of those degrees here, but it's probably coming your way. So look out for it. But I'll see you guys very soon. Tomorrow I got a lot of Orville stuff to put together. And as always, remember, we all do better when we all do better. Thanks for stopping by. See you guys soon. Love you. Bye-bye.